Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to the channel, and we have another golf ball review for you today. This one is the Callaway ERC Soft. So we've actually done a really good job of reviewing all the Callaway golf balls so far. We've done pretty much all their beginner line, their intermediate line. I did the Chrome Soft last time, so that's at least getting into the Tour line. So we still have the X and the XLS to do, but that also does leave the ERC Soft. And the ERC Soft, honestly, is a golf ball that's right in between the Super Fast and the Chrome Soft. It runs about $39.99 a dozen at the moment. I don't know if the new updated 2023 models will change that. Now, I will say that this one is not a 2023 model. This is the older model, just because you are going to still see these in stores. They're still going to be selling them until they sell out of them. And then, you know, to be honest with you, I want to do this one so that way I can do a direct comparison to the 2023 when it comes out to see the difference. Now, a lot of you have told me on the channel that you do like this golf ball. A lot of you say it's a nice in-between. You get lots of spin with it. It feels really good. So it could actually have a market here. Usually anything in that $39.99 range has to really impress me quite a bit, mainly because with an average swing speed like myself, most of the time I get really good results off of the 2-piece and 3-piece models that are more in that $29.99 range. So we'll have to see how it does. Hopefully the numbers are fantastic here. I think a good comparison here is honestly like the Super Fast, just because honestly the Super Fast did really well, as well as the Super Soft Max did really well also. So comparing those two numbers, even to the Chrome Soft, I think all the golf balls around this one, you know, as far as just one step above, one step below, will be a great comparison, just to see if it is worth that $39.99 price point. First of all, let's get into the design of the golf ball. Callaway has an excellent logo. I've touched on this on every single Callaway, so I won't bore you with it too much. But basically, the Callaway logo is really good. I love that. This one just says ERC Soft below it, and there's a bunch of different models. This one actually has the triple track as well, so it does have a good alignment tool. I don't believe you necessarily have to get that on there as well. So there's a couple different options, and then even if you don't like any of that, you could always upgrade to the Chrome Soft. Callaway has a lot of different styles as far as visuals on there. You know, you can do the soccer ball one with the Chrome Soft. So honestly, it's a pretty good, I think they do a good job of having different models and different designs out there, so that way whatever you prefer you can have. This is a triple track model. I love alignment tools, and the triple track is a good alignment tool, especially if you have one of the Odyssey triple track putters from Callaway. So you can line it up really good there, as you can see from that picture. So one thing I did find interesting is that with the golf ball also, it does, you know, this one does feel a little bit cheaper, because this one does have the Dow chemical that a lot of the other Callaway golf balls are starting to use. And if you haven't seen a Callaway review from me yet, I'm not a big fan of that material. It hasn't done a lot of things for the durability, and I've lost some ball speed. But the new 2023 models do not have that anymore. They have went back to the urethane coating. They have what's now called a urethane grip coating. And the fact that that didn't work and they've already had to switch after 1 year kind of tells me everything I need to know as far as whether or not it truly was a good idea. But I do credit Callaway with taking a swing and miss. Sometimes you do have to really take a big swing, especially when the industry is so tough like it is now. There's a lot of competition. So I credit them for taking that risk, but I also credit them for realizing, hey, we goofed, let's go ahead and just correct the mistake, let's not sit on it. So that's good to see. Okay, so the design of the golf ball is pretty good. We'll get out to the chipping and putting green. We'll see how we did out there. Okay, so after a couple chips around the green, here's my kind of thoughts. So first of all, it does feel a little softer than the Super Fast did. The Super Fast was kind of, you know, in between being in the middle and being super soft. But all in all, you know, it's still not a bad feeling, but I would just say it's probably 5th in my ranking, so not super great there. And I was honestly really surprised by how much it didn't spin. There was a couple times if I hit it really pure, I could kind of get it to check up around chips off the green, but that's about it. There wasn't much check up other than that. The Super Fast, actually, I had a little bit more success with in that regard. So not only is it a little bit more dead, a little bit more soft, it has a little bit less check up too. And for this price, I just expected a little bit more. Now, I will say it doesn't feel as crisp and buttery as the Chrome Soft does, but it's pretty close. It does feel really good. It feels really soft if you hit the sweet spot. If you don't, there's definitely a click there to let you know feedback-wise, so honestly, that's really good. The golf ball rolls really true, and I enjoy that a lot, but it just doesn't have that silk 5 out of 5 butter feel that the Chrome Soft had. But like I said, it's a 4, it's a 4.5. It's close. It's very, very close to that. But overall, you know, nothing crazy there. I like the feel of it a lot. I think it definitely is a lot better with the putter than it is with the wedge around the greens. I just didn't have consistent results there. But overall, a pretty decent performance around the green. I'm just not sure if it's worth it considering that price point. All right, so as far as the feel with the golf ball off the irons driver, it did come off a little dead for me, kind of like all the other Dow Chemical blends they've have. I get a little nervous when I see it coming off a little dead just because I'm not sure how the numbers are. I usually lose a little bit of distance with them, but this is a distance golf ball. As far as who this golf ball is for, Callaway isn't real specific on that, to be honest with you. They're very vague. I think it's technically for any swing speed. It's just supposed to be a distance golf ball. It's supposed to be for still getting spin around the greens, but really its main thing is having a high energy core to get extra distance. So with that in mind, I am going to see how it goes with these distances. Let's get into the 9-iron here. 89.9 on your ball mile per hour speed, which is below average, not off to a great start there. 123.2, 115.9, and 25.6. So a slightly high launch, but I did lose some yardages there, especially with that ball mile per hour speed. I lost 3 yards and 4 yards respectively. That's not the end of the world, but the problem I have is anytime you have a distance golf ball and I'm a mid to fast swinger, 92, 93 with a driver, mile an hour, if I'm not getting a lot of bounce off the short irons, that usually means it's a firmer golf ball with a little bit firmer compression, and you might see a better increase off of like maybe the hybrids and the drivers, but all your irons and stuff, you're going to lose some yards. I hope that's not the case, but let's get into the 7 to make sure. 6,660 on your spin, which is slightly above average. Pretty good there. 104.2. Boy, that is really disappointing. 155, I lost about 5 yards. 142.7, lost about 7 yards from my averages. That's definitely concerning, and it had a mid ball flight. So those numbers are very abysmally low. Again, that's what I'm concerned about. If it really is for all swing speeds, I can already tell you that slow swingers and mid swingers probably should stay away, and I'm not even to the driver yet just because it's workable. It's not that it isn't workable as far as, hey, you can just take 5 yards off of what you would normally hit, but you wouldn't want to do that because we've tested a lot of golf balls on this channel that have been phenomenal through all the phases. And at that price range of $39.99, already being 0 for 2 with the 9-iron and the 7-iron, it kind of concerns me a little bit. But it has a chance to redeem itself. Let's get into the hybrid. Maybe it'll now compress a little bit better, being a distance ball. 4,004 on your spin, slightly below average. 118.6, there it is. That's a little bit better there. 118 is about 2 mile an hour more than my average. 195.5, 181.7, gained about 5 yards each there. 14.9 had a mid to high launch, so I like that. So those numbers are good. So that's what I had kind of figured with it being a distance golf ball. It did feel a little firmer. It did come off the club a little hotter as well. So I noticed when I was hitting the 9-iron and the 7-iron, it was coming off pretty dead, but once I got to the hybrid, it at least had a tiny bit of pop. It wasn't as much pop as I would have preferred, but at least it did better than the short iron. So let's go to the driver. Let's see if it can continue this here. This is really where Callaway is advertising this golf ball is going to make its money, as being the longest one they offer. 2,963, slightly above average on your spin. 245.6, yeah, I gained about 5 yards from my average. That's pretty good. 134.6, 224.8, and a 17.3 launch. Boy, that's a very high launch, which isn't always a bad thing, but I do like that. The numbers are good there. So, so it was able to redeem itself a little bit with the hybrid and the driver. We'll touch on durability real quick, and then after that, I'll give you my closing thoughts on what all these numbers mean. So durability-wise, you know, most of these Dow Chemical blends they've had so far, which is Super Soft and the Super Fast, I haven't had a lot of luck with them. They've been bad. This one is a little bit better. Obviously, the way the core is designed, it is helping it as far as not scuff up as bad and not tear the top of the cover. It feels pretty decent for the most part. It's not perfect by any means, but it does feel a lot better. There's some scratches in there if you feel it. It actually looks really good if you just look at it. But if you feel it, you can feel the difference. You can feel there's a little bit of sandpapery edges that feel a little rough to the touch. It's definitely something that isn't perfect by any means, and I would have to guess it's probably this blend. Okay, so let me get to my final thoughts now. So with all that being said in the numbers, even though the golf ball was able to redeem itself a little bit at the end with both the hybrid and the driver, it's still really hard for me to recommend it just because, one, the price point, $39.99, isn't the most you'll pay for a dozen golf balls, but around my channel, we center a lot of things around here on value. You know, two of my favorite golf balls are the Wilson Zip and Cut Red, and those golf balls are $1 a piece. You know, I love the Vice line. You can get the Vice Pro at $35 a piece. So when you get into the $39.99, you know, I judge you a little harder. I grade you a little harder because with that price point, I just expect it to be really, really good. I expect everything to be tight. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case here. It wasn't tight. You know, the 9-iron I lost some distance on. You know, anytime I lose distance with a golf ball and I'm paying more, regardless of the situation, I usually just have a hard time recommending it. And then once you get to the driver and the hybrid, yes, the numbers improved, but I've had better numbers than that, to be honest with you. I've had much better numbers. I mean, heck, I got 6 yards more than this ball with the soft fly, you know, and the Max Fly soft fly. So there's a lot of golf balls out there that just perform a lot better and that don't cost as much. So it's really hard for me to recommend it. Now, I will say this though, I'm excited. I've seen the specs. Someone was nice enough on Instagram to send me a whole bunch of specs in the video on the new 2023 model, and it looks like they've taken a lot of steps in the right direction, and I'm actually very excited about it. I think it's going to be a lot better than this one, and I'm going to get my hands on that one as soon as I can. That way I can do a direct comparison. So 2022 model, you probably won't see it around for very much longer, but if you do see any of them in the store, you find them on the course, just keep in mind that you're going to lose a little bit of distance with your short irons, and you are going to gain a little bit of distance with the longer clubs. Also, does have a good alignment tool, so at least you'll be able to make some more putts. So not a bad performance overall. It's a good golf ball. I'd put it in the okay range. Just hard for me to put that Golf Ball Addict seal of approval on it, just because I didn't feel I got a lot for my value. So guys, as always, keep watching and keep saving and keep learning. We have more golf ball reviews coming your way. We have coming up the Callaway Chrome Soft X LS. Some of these names are just getting crazy. It's not as bad as Bridgestone, but it's still getting up there. And then I'm gonna have to do an on-course test with the X because the Mevo will not read it for some reason, so that one's coming up as well. And if you've got one that you really wanna see a review for and you really wanna, or maybe an updated review or something like that, just let me know below and I'll move it to the front of the line. You know, right now we're just trying to get through the big box brand names and we're just kinda trying to eventually get to the finish line. So if you want me to throw something up in the line, I got no problem with that. Just let me know. Till next time, guys.